to the fourth scenario is information delivery and distribution, and this is about making information access effortless for everyone involved. We often see utility companies implementing self-serve information delivery for stakeholders to access and to provide the end user with the data and format that they need it in. So let's take a closer look again in the next slide. So how might we deliver and distribute critical information to important stakeholders such as the public, customers, design groups, contractors, or other clients? We need to ensure that the data is available in a variety of formats and it needs to be easily accessible. For example, you may be delivering critical, up-to-date information for emergency and risk management or informing customers of power outages and anticipated uptimes in their area. By implementing a data integration workflow using FME, you can get data into the appropriate formats and use an FME-cloud hosted portal for sharing. The result is accessible data in user-friendly formats. So here's an example from Fortis BC, a natural gas and electric utility based in British Columbia, Canada. Their GIS team needed a more efficient way to assess wildfire threat to their assets and customers so their operations managers could take immediate action. They used FME to automatically integrate active wildfire data from the provincial government into their GIS. This workflow not only sends notifications to operations managers, it also provides drawings, reports, plots, Excel files, and KMZ files. The operations managers can then provide accurate information to emergency responders to reduce the threat, or if prevention isn't possible, work across teams within the organization to efficiently restore services. By implementing FME, they now have an integrated view of wildfires and assets for better decision-making while saving time gathering data. Now I'll pass it back to Tiana for a demo.
Okay, so I want to show you a sample workspace that helps a water utility company fix reported issues in their network, like water main breaks or leaks. To fix reported problems, they need to gather information about the problem and report the extent and severity of the issue. So this includes figuring out where the closest valve is to the break so that they can go shut it off. So here's the workspace. The first step then is gathering data from available sources and preparing it for processing. So this file is a database of reported leaks. You could also gather this from an API or a web source. In our case, it's a simple CSV spreadsheet. And then the next three layers are pulled from our geodatabase containing information on water mains, network junctions, and control valves. So then we're passing the data along, making sure the data sets are aligned. And then in the next part of the workspace, we are focusing on the valves in the water network because that's the part we care about. Next, we're going to get a list of valves that need to be turned off in order to address this water main break. So this neighbor finder's job is to find the neighboring points. We're next going to get an area of interest by creating a bounding box and a buffer around the break. And then we want to pull in more information from other data sets to give the technician more info. So we're using the feature reader to get addresses from a map info data set, which we'll use to figure out who's affected by a break and how many people are there. So if there's an apartment building nearby, there's going to be a lot more people affected. Then we're going to get some background imagery. So an ortho image to just give the technician a better idea of the area. And then we are adding water network info to make sure that we're giving the technician all the info that they need. So finally, we write out the Excel report. The Excel writer here uses a template and different sheets. These are the layers here to apply formulas and create a report. So we're going to share this workspace with you afterwards so you can dive into it in more detail and try it out yourself. I just want to give you a quick overview of what it's doing. So this whole workspace is repeatable. It'll return the result depending on where the break occurs. So we can run this in the background and automatically send Excel reports to technicians if and when something is reported. So to do that, we publish it to FME server. Then there we can use automations to trigger this workspace when a water main break is reported. So I just click the publish button there. I can run through this, publish it online, and then it'll be on my FME server instance. So I have my FME server instance running in the cloud. So this is that URL here. This is the automations interface. I built a simple automation here that triggers this workspace. It just runs in the background. It listens for an event. In this case, I have a Dropbox watch. So when a new file arrives in Dropbox, it triggers a workspace. This is the workspace running here. And then after that, it emails a report. So you could also use the workspace to decide who exactly to email if you wanted to get specific. You can also fully customize this. So if a Dropbox trigger isn't what you want, you could also set it up to run on a schedule, say every night, or to watch a directory, respond to a webhook. Let me just add. So you can add any pieces that you want here. So say we want to add a new trigger. You can see the list here of every possible choice. So you can like run it when a webhook is triggered. It's fully customizable. So then when you run the automation, you click start at the top here. This will just start running in the background. So it'll start watching for that trigger. When a report of a water main break arrives, it'll use that data to generate an informative Excel report with all the information that I need. And then it'll email that report to the right technicians so they can go do their thing. So there's lots of time and effort saved overall. This is what the output looks like. So you can see we've got an image here, we've got the valves in the picture, we've got a bunch of different tabs showing the technician all the info that they need.